Hello and welcome to Reviews. Now, this is not the video I intended to make. I had every intention of doing either X-Force number 1 or Superior Spider-Man number 1. You see, this was a really small week, and like most of the books Marvel put out were pretty much in quadruples because they all had alternative covers. They had variant covers, and but other than that, there was really only a handful of books that came out. But I had every intention of doing, especially Superior Spider-Man number 1, because I love Spock. Look at that! I just start recording, and my cat starts scratching at the door. Too bad, Butters, you're staying in here. Um, but anyway, something weird happened to me last night. And it's been a long time since something like this has happened. So I went to bed, and I'm laying in bed. I'm having trouble falling asleep. And I found myself, I kept thinking back to Maneater's number 4. I could not get it out of my head. And I don't mean that in a good way. Sometimes you'll read something or watch something really good, maybe hear really good piece of music, and you lay in bed, you think about it, and it goes through your head. You start replaying things, and thinking about it and how much you enjoyed it. Well, it wasn't that kind for me. Basically, I'm still bemused by it. And so I finally did fall asleep and, got up this morning, went to work, and I found myself still thinking about this issue and the whys of it. So I actually did something that I never do, is I went on Twitter and I actually sent a question. Let me go over to this tab here. And I actually sent a question to Chelsea Kane. I read Maneater's number 4 last night, and I'm quite curious. Why drop the narrative of Maud's reveal from the end of number 3 and do an entire in-universe magazine? And this was about 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, I actually reached out to her, and now that's not something I normally do. I really don't use Twitter a lot. I peek in here and there and check a few things. But when it comes to reaching out to the professionals, I can count on one hand how many times I've done it and still have probably 3 fingers left over. It's not something I do. And if you notice, and let me go back to it, I was polite, tried to be as neutral as possible, because this is not something that I'm annoyed, I'm angry. I'm I'm confused about the whole thing. And in case you didn't watch the video, Maneater's number 4, instead of being a comic, continuing the story, it's basically a parody. It's a satire. It's Catfight Magazine, a magazine that's a corporately sponsored magazine in universe aimed at boys, basically to warn them of cat attacks. And the more I thought about it, the more confused I got. So I actually went and I decided, you know what, I'm going to look up, just do a Google search here, Maneater's number 4. See, if anyone's really talking about it, and there's a few reviews, and look at that. My small little channel here is on the first page results. So maybe it's a small week, maybe not a lot of people are talking about it, but I glanced at some of the reviews, what some other people are saying, because I'm thinking maybe it's one of those things that I'm just not getting. It happens sometimes. Maybe, it's, I don't claim to know it all, but, for example, this one talks about how its entire issue resembles a issue of Catfight Magazine, a boy's guide to dangerous cats. To be clear, this is a magazine parody, not an illustrated comic book issue. Okay, it's smartly done, really. Inside the covers of this magazine, intended for teenage boys, are ads for products that would appeal to boys, but they are all fake. The products are fake, the ads are fake, but the energy drinks, hand sanitizer, laundry detergent, and so on, all have the ingredient estro added to them, a chemical intended to protect boys, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, yeah, and that's the one thing I will say. As I mentioned, I really like the cover. The magazine, the way they did it was well done. I believe I said that last night. I give props to it because it looked like a real magazine. But But then this particular reviewer says, it's all great fun and brilliantly executed. The writer-creator is Chelsea Kane, and da-da-da-da. If you like parody and can appreciate creative excellence, be sure to pick up this 4th issue. Really? Now, I read on one of the other sites that this was intended to be an intro to the book. Like a new reader. It's supposed to be new reader friendly. It's your 4th issue. You just had the 1st issue 4 months ago. It went to a 2nd printing. It's a little too soon. Just a little bit too soon. Just like that too soon. To be trying to do an issue that's new reader friendly. I went over to this other site here, League of Comic Geeks, and talk about, here it is, Catfight. This exclusive special report is a must-buy for Maneater fans and collectors, while also acting as a standalone entry point for those of you who are new to the series. What? New? This is not a good entry point. It really isn't. And then, I looked at the community reviews here. Jokes are well done. Let's see what this full review is. Let me pop over to this. The jokes are well done, and the amount of work put into it to make this look just the right amount of real made me laugh. I don't think the jokes were well done. It's formatted as a fake magazine. They did that well. And I looked at these reviews and, wow, with every issue, my astonishment is getting bigger. Oh, what? Oh, no, don't use a heathen album cover, no. This is my favorite book and the biggest surprise of 2018. Oh, it was a surprise. And, someone says, I need to check this out. I have issue 1, but I've yet to read it. Hurry up and have fun. This one's been the biggest surprise for me as well. We're lucky. Are we reading the same book? So this is a new issue. This is a 4th issue of a new series, and it's intended to be a jumping on point in a thing that doesn't really tell you what the book is going to be about. Why would you do something like that? You should have maybe a re-intro to the characters. If someone picks this up and they're going to have no idea what to expect from what we've seen in the other 3 issues. It's the whole thing is so confused. I still don't know what to make of it. Now, I understand that this is Chelsea Kane turning things on its head. It's I've said I haven't said it. I've read that. I've heard people say that male fantasies are power fantasies, but the feminist fantasy, the SJW fantasy, is a revenge fantasy. And you can see that in this book. It's basically the adolescent female, when she hits puberty, has a chance to turn into a panther and then just start mauling people. So, of course, you have this corporate magazine, this Catfight magazine, that is intended for boys, about how dangerous girls can be, and, be careful, they're dangerous to your health, ooh, and, oops, I just hit my keyboard. I think I did that last time I was in here. But as they're doing this, they're actually making the case. I think she's trying to make it seem like way over the top. That's why everything is estrogen and all the ads are like the way they are. But what's funny about this is that if this were the Toxoplasmosis X, if this was a real thing in the real world, it would be justified. A magazine like that, even though it's supposed to be propaganda, if women were that dangerous, that they would, as dangerous as any other person, but if they could turn into a panther and maul someone, there would be stuff like this. There would be survival guides. There would be stuff like that, what to look out for. And what I think Chelsea Kane is trying to parody, she's actually instead justifying something that would happen in the real world. And you'd have stuff like how to live with your wife who has toxoax, stuff like that. Um, but this is still stuck in my head that she decided to deviate 4 issues into this parody magazine, and it doesn't bode well. Um, as I pointed out in previous issues, it felt like they were really trying to stretch things. Like they didn't have enough material to fill the entire issue. And so they stretched things out. That's why you had, I keep bringing up the Dead Samurai poetry. And the whole thing reeks of self-congratulatory. Look at this thing we did. Aren't we great? Yeah. And while I was going through this, I only saw one review here that actually kind of gave it a bad thing, saying, this is not the person who never read it before. I accidentally closed the tab before I started recording. Wasn't this? Basically, the person said that he wasn't the one to have read the previous issues. He had someone else on the site read it. And so, Maneater's #4 was his first issue. And he had no idea what to expect. It was literally what I always say. Always treat every issue like it's the reader's first issue. And this is not how you do it. You don't do it with a magazine parody. So, was it this one? Was it Rogue's Portal? Maybe it was this. Oh no, this is another one. Maneater's 4 is thoughtful and funny, but not without flaws. Yeah, it's a difficult jump to point out for new readers. The poker-faced nature of Kane's delivery and the elaborate form of a magazine as satire vehicle crowds out needed exposition for first-timers. Yes. I recommend starting on page 12, Ask the Doctor. That's exactly what I said last night. That was the best part of the book. Other than the cover, it actually felt like it was something worthwhile and gave a little bit of backstory to the book. And it takes a first step forward to addressing criticisms that do charge the comic as cis-normative. They will always turn on each other. You see, Chelsea, you can never be good enough. There will always be someone who will find that, you're not appealing to this group. It has to be all-inclusive. That's turn on each other. That's what happens. Hopefully Kane will find new ways to make sure that to make it clear that not everyone with a vagina is a cisgender girl. We barely had a chance to. There hasn't been any type of romance or relations, whether they be hetero, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, any of them. It's really been about these attacks. That really hasn't come up. I don't even know why this person's addressing it. Verdict? Buy it. Buy what? Be cautious if you're wading into Maneaters for the first time. You might want to wait for the next issue of the trade. But if not, then enjoy the solid buy from... Okay, you can't give it a huge buy like that and then give the caveat, wait till next issue if you never read it before. But anyway, I'm still confused about this. I reached out to Chelsea. I actually engaged her on Twitter, which it looks like she hasn't been on it 16 hours. And I doubt that she would respond to me. I'm pretty much a nobody. I admit that. I think it's part of my charm, to be honest. But yeah, why did they do this? I think it's that whole, they just don't understand humor. And, I love abstract humor. I love absurd humor. And I said before, I highly support people trying new things. But this is completely different. This is like, I don't know, buying a McDonald's hamburger and getting a 12-pack of forks instead of a burger. I hate to make a food reference, but it's just the first thing I thought of. It's something completely different, not what you were expecting to buy. It's not what I was expecting going in, but yeah, I just felt like I needed to talk a little bit more about this and just delve in because I can't get my mind around why they chose to do this. And like I said, in their defense, it is very well done. It's a very well done magazine parody. But is it something they should have done. Like I said, the best thing they should have done is taken the magazine and spread it out over several issues. Instead of having the goofy things in the back, have a couple pages of that, or maybe one story, article in the back of each issue for the next several issues. Other than that, it's a waste. And yeah, I had to do a second video on this because I'm still confused. This whole thing has just left me so puzzled as to what she was trying to accomplish. And like I said, this is supposed to be a magazine aimed toward boys and haha, look at, be afraid of women. But the comic has been showing why guys should be afraid of women. And yeah, oh, and is this the one? Yeah, look at these covers we have coming up. If it, yeah, this one especially. Yeah, that's what we have coming up here. I guess I should be thankful for the Black Cat one, eh? Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for putting up with me talking for another 16 minutes about this. What are your thoughts? Has anyone else read this? Am I the only one that's subjecting myself to this every month that is not just blindly following? I'm not sure what audience it is that she's expecting with this other than, Tumblr or people that don't read the books. So, but anyway, what are your thoughts? Have you read this? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will be getting to the Superior Spider-Man #1 because, like I said, I love Spock. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.